Hey everyone, welcome again to another 360 Timmy. So today we're in Ashford, Kent, and my special guest today is Kieran Osborne.
Hello.
Hi Kieran. Kieran is an entrepreneur, and today we're going to talk all things property and life management.
Okay, yeah.
But I guess to start with, entrepreneur. So where does that, what's your career history and how did that come about?
So I started, way back when, my first job was with McDonald's, and I did, while I was at university, ended up after a year, didn't want to do uni anymore, and my parents said to me, right, before you leave uni, you need to go and get yourself a career, because they didn't feel that McDonald's was good enough for me. So I went and joined Lloyds Bank as a business manager, and I had this idea that I wanted to start my own business at 40, learn all my mistakes while I was employed, and then start a career. But anyway, I got made redundant from Lloyds Bank and kind of just fell into this really. So I do estate planning now, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, bit of probate, that kind of thing. And then, but I'm very much, I get bored of things really easily. So I'm often doing little side projects. So I noticed a bit of a problem I had with the business in that I needed to manage a significant amount of clients.
Yeah.
So I needed a system and a process and this, that, and the other. So I started to build a CRM and tech. So I've built a tech platform to support my business. And the plan is to then take that tech platform and kind of help other estate planners that want to start their own business and so forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where it is. Founded 2 charities. I just like little projects, I suppose.
You do, don't you? And what are those charities?
So one is a grant giving charity. A lot of people give in their wills to charity, because they don't have the cash now. A lot of stuff is held up in their house and this, that, and the other, so they give to charity in their wills. But some people know they want to give to charity but don't know how, like what charity to give it to and so forth. So they want a charity to give to that handles that for them. So we set up Squiggle Giving, which is a grant giving charity. People can leave a gift to Squiggle Giving, and then what we'll do is help local charitable causes and so forth. So that's the one charity. It's quite a new charity, so it's yet to actually be open for grants yet, to give out any grants. It's ultimately kind of collecting money in. Sorry about this. Normally they
cut down. Yeah, we're going for
down.
Going for the undergrowth here. I wish you were going this way, where it's a bit more.
And then the other charity has now been going about 4 years, the Bloomers Trust. I co-founded this with my partner, actually, my girlfriend. She currently works for an organisation that supports victims of sexual exploitation, domestic violence, and so forth. And we found that, or she found, that while she was helping them get accommodation, solicitors, help the police, and this, that, and the other, simple basics, such as nappies for their children, clothing for their children, because they would kind of escape their servitude with just their clothes on their back, or 8 months pregnant as a result of their exploitation. They didn't have those basic necessities. And so my living room very quickly turned into a bit of a boot fair with us black sacks from friends and family and so forth. I said, right, if we're going to do this, let's do it properly. So we got a storage locker in Ashford, started taking donations for the public, and we package up like little care packages to be sent out.
That's amazing.
So like a pushchair packed in with nappies and this, that, and the other, and we'll ship that out to people to help them.
Do you get any help from business as well? In terms of things like nappies and
yeah, so
like
a few local businesses, actually our storage provider Kent Space, have done like little collections for us for nappies and things. The Rotary Club did a big collection for us. So yeah, actually we did get given a baby wipe company, gave us a pallet worth of baby wipes, which was pretty handy.
They're very handy.
So it took us a while to get through a pallet though.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when a volunteer said, "Oh, I've got you a pallet." I'm like, I don't know where we're going to put this. And then this pallet, just lorry turned up with a pallet load of
Quite high, I imagine, as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
yeah.
just a couple of levels. Yeah,
No, exactly. So yeah. So
that's an amazing thing to do, especially in entrepreneurship as well. Charities is awesome. That sounds super exciting.
this is it. I think for me, the community's been very good for Squiggle, like my core business. So it's nice to then give back and do those things to support the local community.
So in terms of starting up Squiggle, so you were made redundant from Lloyds. Did that give you a bit of capital to start the business? Was that the kind of...
A little bit, not much if I'm honest, because I had already committed to buying a house just before I'd been made redundant.
Crikey.
So most of my redundancy money went on my house deposit. So it did end up with an element of risk. So I did get into a bit of debt when I first started the business. Ended up having to remortgage my house just to cover that. But I think for me, because I knew I wanted to grow it, I didn't want it just to be little old me all the time. I could have probably done it without building up the debt I did. But
Yeah.
when you start a business, you have to kind of understand where your money is, and that you can't go out for the meals that you used to, or the holidays you did, and
Yes.
this, that, and the other, and cut back a bit. I never did that.
So you lived the jolly life as well. That's good.
So yeah, but the problem is then that meant, because I was trying to start a business, ended up getting into a bit of debt and
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, fortunately I'm out the other side of that now. But I think that's a good thing as long as you can afford it.
Yeah, and you can manage it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've got to have quite a steely resolve, haven't you, to start a business? Like, think about. So I work on a salary role, and I'm the sole earner in the house. To start a business, I would have to give that up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's quite a risk, isn't it? So you do really have to have that mindset, don't you?
It is 100%, and this is the difference between, say, employment and a business owner, because ultimately it's the same thing. You're going out there working, and employees have the same drive as a business owner sometimes, but what they may not have is that attitude to risk.
Yeah.
Is that actually, do I want to take this leap, and make that risk? So, I'm gonna put that.
So estate planning, pretty key. Now I was thinking coming down here, I'm approaching 50. I don't think I've got a will yet.
Okay.
So that's quite important, isn't it? And I guess you'll have people at the end of their lives, fairly old,
Yep.
who are well prepared for this. But you'll get people that unfortunately have kind of conditions and die early, or they
Yeah.
know they're going to die early. So
This is it. We work with a number of charities, some of them hospices. Actually, maybe we're better off going up there. It's a bit wet here.
It's a bit wet here.
Yeah. It does get a bit muggy. Yeah. So where we had lots of rain yesterday.
Yeah, it's quite
we'll go up
soaking,
that
isn't it?
way.
Yeah.
I think we can go. So anyway, we work with a number of hospices and so forth that leave it quite last minute, and the problem with that is that wills are riskier when you leave it right till the last minute.
Yeah.
Because they're more open to be contested.
Yeah.
So it's better to be much more prepared and do it early on. Ultimately, there's one thing you can guarantee in life, is that we are going to die at some point.
Yeah.
So naturally, of course, I am biased because I run an estate planning business, but we may as well just get it done sooner rather than later, because you're going to die at some point in the nicest possible way.
if you're in a marriage and what a partner dies, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to smooth ride for the surviving partner, does it?
Exactly.
Because there could be all kinds of complications with maybe bank accounts are in joint names.
Well, exactly. And do you know, that's one of the things, is that ultimately when you're in a married couple position, you want to look after your wife or your husband.
Yeah.
But you also want to look after your children.
Yeah.
And people do move on. Like me and my partner, obviously she's in her late 20s, I'm in my 30s. And if I died now, I expect her to move on.
Yeah.
But if I had children, I'd also want to look after the children. So how does that work in terms of looking after my partner? But then if she died, I wouldn't want everything to go to her new partner. I'd want it to go to my children.
Yeah.
So this is the difficulty in estate planning that people don't understand. And we look at these different what ifs in life. Okay, what if your son got divorced? Would you want his wife to run off with half of his inheritance?
Yeah.
most people would say no. Well, unfortunately, a basic will doesn't cover that kind of stuff. So a lot of people say, well, I can go and do WH Smith and do my own will. But
And
it doesn't.
they don't hold a lot of water, those things, do
Well, they cover the basics, but they don't cover those what ifs in life.
Yeah.
Those different scenarios. So yeah, you've got the hurdle of making sure you fill it in correctly, and secondly, you haven't thought about all those other little things.
So your the squiggle proposition is, so if I want to today have to write a will with my partner, it's an interface with all the right questions that generates.
Yeah, well, actually, you'll get a human. So whilst we have a tech platform, you also have. Sorry, we're gonna have to walk behind each other on this one. They don't usually have a path around here, so I don't know what's happened.
It's very Theresa May, isn't it? Walking through the cornfield.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't done this walk in a little while, so you're getting me out being fit.
Exactly, that's the whole objective.
So anyway, we have got an online platform that does will writing for you, but what we prefer to do is actually send a face-to-face consultant round to speak with you.
Yeah.
So we've got a team of currently 18, and one of those consultants will come out and see you in the comfort of your own home and go through all those different scenarios.
And is that just limited to the Kent area, or is that southeast?
Predominantly southeast, but we also have a consultant, one in Somerset, one in North London somewhere, one down 7, 8 I suppose is Kent, one in Wales. So yeah, we're expanding so we can cover nationwide. So I think we can go over there
This
and
way,
then back round the pond. So that's the idea. But if we can't go face to face, then we've got Zoom. The great thing about a good thing that kind of come out of COVID is that people are more used to using Zoom.
Yes.
So if we don't cover a face-to-face area, then we can always do that meeting on Zoom.
And where was your business during the COVID period? How did you get through that?
For us, because of the industry we're in, COVID was actually quite a good thing for us.
Yeah.
Our inquiries went up by about 70%.
Oh, crikey.
Where people were more aware of their mortality.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things that they understood, right, okay, something could happen, we don't expect it, but you never know. So therefore, it's one of those things that they thought, right, let's get a will sorted.
And you mentioned earlier that the platform you've created is a kind of a springboard for other businesses to use. How does that work?
Yeah, so naturally, I mean, we've served over 7,000 clients now, and that's a huge amount of data that we've got to keep secure, manage it, and so forth. So we built, it's an internal platform, so obviously clients don't really see it.
Yeah.
But when I first started, there wasn't that out there. So therefore I created it. So anyone that's looking to get into the industry can start using that to help launch their estate planning business, to be able to manage that client process. Because ultimately clients don't care that you're managing 1,000 other clients or 500 other clients. All they care about is their own planning.
Yeah.
And that's what this system allows you to do, is make sure the client is looked after and managed and not forgotten about, and manage your tasks and so forth. So right, today you've got to post out that client's will, register that client's will, draft this client's will, and manages that whole process for you.
And in terms of the will that's resulted in it, is it reviewed by a legal, in a kind of legal sense as well?
Yeah, so we've got a legal team consisting anywhere from barristers to solicitors to paralegals. So depending on what caliber you're looking at, that's what they need. So make sure that we're different teams are qualified to a different level at different for different things. So we only use the legal professional when it's needed.
For more complex.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, what ifs.
Exactly, yeah. So depending on how complicated it is, depends on what legal professional comes in. So therefore, you only pay for what you need. So, and this isn't about paying for, if you've got £10 million to your name, you don't pay more than someone who's got a fiver to their name. It's how much protection you need.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess this is a difficult business to capacity plan, so to speak. You know, do you know this week it's going to be any busier than next month?
Not really. It's just a lot of stuff we do now. What's allowed us to scale really quickly is partnerships. So we know we took on quite a big partner a couple of months ago, and so we're quite at capacity now.
Yeah.
So now we're not looking out for any more partnerships until we can get some more staff in, and then we'll get some more partnerships.
And what sort of partnerships do you do? Is that with hospices or?
Yeah, so we have three main sources. So you've obviously got the general public,
Yeah.
that just walk in the door, so to speak. But we work a lot with financial advisors and accountants that are already meeting with clients. And then we also work with employers for employee benefit schemes to want to provide their employees with free wills.
That's good. That's a good. I like that.
And also charities, because charities then pay for wills for their clients to raise money for the charity.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because that employee thing, that kind of gets my ear, that, because as I said earlier, I haven't really made good provision so far, so no one wiped me out just yet. But trying to get people to think about it, there is lots of employee benefit schemes out there, from getting private healthcare discounts, all that kind of things in portals, but I don't think even my company has that.
No,
so that is a great little shoehorn into getting people to think about that.
This is it. Most companies say, oh yeah, we're a family-run company, or we're here to support families, like your family, the employee's family, but don't provide that benefit. So we actually help the employees provide that free of charge. So we don't charge the employer, we don't charge the employee for a basic will, and that's to get us out in the community more.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great business.
Yeah.
Now, on the side, you are also doing a lot of advising. I did see a beginnings of a YouTube that's disappeared, but are you're doing a lot of business advice on Instagram, I've seen.
Yeah, that's it. So we've got an Instagram and TikTok and so forth, and the YouTube, hopefully at some point it's going to be reignited, but it's one of those things where I get distracted.
Yeah.
Ultimately it's getting out there in the community, doing more, and just educating really. I'd rather, and this is why we do the free wills for employers and stuff, is I'd rather give that advice than people go and get a WH Smith will or an Amazon will or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And it not be the worth of the paper it's written on.
Yeah, absolutely. So how's your content going to take shape going forward then?
I think more of the same, more of what it's only over the last probably 3 to 6 months we've got a bit better on the socials. But yeah, just education really is the biggest one. People aren't aware of what's around the corner. People associate it all with later life.
Yeah.
So things can happen at any time. So for example, Britney Spears, she lost capacity at a very young age.
Yes.
Capacity is a very lucid thing, so obviously she regained it to a degree and therefore was able to regain her finances. Michael Schumacher, he had an accident, lost capacity, so fortunately you can have certain things in place for those eventualities. It's not just about old age.
Well, you wonder if he did, don't you? I suppose he would have done in that kind of dangerous sports he was in. But
yeah, you'd hope so, but it's surprising the amount of, we've had celebrities, families come to us, or millionaires, and you think, oh yeah, they've got all that planning sorted, and they don't have anything in place.
Well, no, it's like you say, isn't it? You saying later in life, later in life gets further and further out for me.
Yeah, exactly.
The closer I get to it, it gets further and further out. So
well, you feel young at heart, don't you?
You do. It's like, I don't do that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, you can just be going along, walking along, and a bit of masonry falls on you, all kinds of stuff, So. God, yeah, that's really something to think about. So that's going to be quite exciting then, having some, you can do it in a podcast format.
Yeah, so we're launching a podcast. So I'm joined a friend's podcast, we're doing one together. And that's not just business in general, that's anything.
Yeah.
So even some silly things that he wants to do. So that's a podcast called Overstimulated.
Yeah, we'll put the link to that on the end of this video.
And then I'm going to launch one on my own, where I'll invite guests on, probably similar to this.
Yeah.
I'm not the walking man usually.
No, you won't be waist deep in mud like we were earlier.
So but probably be in our office somewhere, and we'll get local businesses on and talk a bit about kind of business ownership, entrepreneurship, starting a business, and because that's what interests me, and it's important you do something that interests you.
Absolutely. And I think, well, I mean, based upon this walk, you've got a fascinating history and a lot, I think, a lot more to give out there. So I very much look forward to seeing what happens there. So as I mentioned, we will put the links to your socials in the description and the end of the video. But for today, thank you very much, Kieran.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, and you have a super day.
Thank you.